CL 650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call.
Hey, and welcome to the show. I'm Zach Spencer, and welcome to CL 650's Experts on Call. Today, we're going to be talking all about StrataLife and what it means to you. And there's so many people living in the greater Vancouver area who live in stratas. Detached homes are so expensive, and for many people, they're either on their way up to maybe buying a detached home or maybe downsizing to a strata. But a strata often plays a big part in people's lives at some point through their life here in the greater Vancouver area. So we have Key Pacific Property Management, along with a number of trusted strata industry professionals. They're developing a resource designed to connect strata councils with high-quality, reputable, strata-related service providers. And simple, we call it here StrataLife. So StrataLife is about all things strata. Joining me in studio today is Drew Grout, Director of Strata Services for Key Pacific Property Management. Key Pacific Property Management has been serving here in the Metro Vancouver area since 1998. Also joining me is Gordon Lee. He's from CMW Insurance, along with Alex. Now, Alex, I got to practice your name. Lee Mongelli, right?
Lee Mongelli.
Did I get it right? Okay,
yes,
good.
You did.
He is the Public Sector Manager at Waste Management. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so on the show we have experts to talk about everything about strata. Now let's get into all kinds of different things. Like we're going to talk about insurance, we're going to talk about waste management, we're going to talk about overall stratas. So let's get into our very first question. This one is directed at Drew. Now, Drew, we had a question from Barb, and last year she states that her strata hired a cleaning company to power wash the exterior of her building. They broke the window and they caused flooding on the ground floor unit. At the time, the strata council said they would pay for the restoration and repairs. However, they're now refusing to pay, and the strata insurance is not covering the cost. So this is a dual one. This is kind of for both of you about insurance and stratas overall. Our owner property insurance also refused to pay because they say the flood was due to a common area envelope problem that led to the flood. So who is right? Who can they call to help? That's from Barb. So Drew, to you, someone's living in a strata. They're power washing the outside of the building, which is the common area. They break their window and the water goes in. So where are you with that?
Well, for me, I see relief coming in from 3 different insurance areas.
Right.
No contractor should be on site without having proper protection.
Their own insurance.
Yes, liability insurance.
Right.
Then you have the strata corporation that has insurance protecting everything you pretty much see, and the homeowner's insurance. So I can certainly see a council saying, oh, we'll take care of it because they feel, oh, we hired the people, it caused damage, we'll do something about it. But at first, the first place to look, I think, is at the person who caused the damage and what protection they have to take care of correcting it. Barring that, I can't see why a strata insurance provider wouldn't step to the plate. It's a sudden and accidental occurrence, and I think that the strata corporation would be more than willing to deal with it, subject to their deductible. So if it's under the deductible, strata insurance is not going to play a role.
Yeah. So if it's a few $100 to change the window, and then the flood is $2,000, and maybe their deductible's $4,000. Could that be the case?
Well, the strata deductible in all likelihood might be around $5,000.
Right.
Okay. The homeowner's deductible might be $500.
Right.
Okay. So if it's under $5,000, I would think the strata corporation insurance would step to the plate.
Yes, I agree, and I think in this case that's what the unknown is kind of. I mean, mind you, true agreement with there's deductibles we see 10,000, 15, 20 because they've may have claims before. So really in this case, I'm just going to take the assumption is that because from a broker's perspective, from CMW, from my experience, there's no reason why the strata's insurance wouldn't come in and look after this loss. It's accidental, it's water damage, it's all covered. So the only reason would be, I'm going to take assumption, it's got a high deductible and the damage that's caused is below the deductible.
So instead of saying to Barb, hey, listen, could this happen? Okay, so the homeowner's got a $500 deductible and they say, you claim it, but can we reimburse you the $500? Could the strata do that?
The strata could.
Yeah.
It could,
but in some cases they have.
Yeah.
So assuming that strata insurance isn't going to play a role because of deductibles, the homeowner would turn to their home insurer for relief. The reason they are apparently giving doesn't seem quite valid. It has nothing to do with a pre-existing condition or leaky condo. It was a sudden and accidental occurrence, and it should be handled accordingly. A homeowner making a claim can easily go back and say, hey, look, you guys caused it. You hired the contractor. How about pay my deductible? And some may or may not choose to do that. If there's no insurance involved, then the homeowner's responsible for fixing their strata lot. Strata Corporation is responsible for common property, which would include the window.
So, so one of the questions could be that this happened, you know, Friday afternoon at 4, right? And there's, you know, you've got to get it fixed. You're going to go all weekend with a window that's broken. So, how do you stick handle that? Because the person that has the unit obviously could phone a window repair or a restoration company and have it boarded up or what have you. So how do you stick handle that part of it?
Well, that would happen. Who does it depends on the situation.
So who initiates it would pay for it? Like if Strata called to restoration company to come and fix the window, they're paying for it?
Well, often what happens is you need to make quick decisions in an emergency, and often we'll deal with mitigating the circumstance and then worrying about responsibility later. Regardless of the homeowner doing it or the Strata Council doing it or somebody else doing it, it needs to be done. Let's get it done, protect the place, board up the window, and assess the situation, and then determine who's responsible for that.
Now, have you seen an insurance side of it where somebody's gone ahead and made a repair maybe without the proper authority? And have you been in those situations?
Yeah, it happens. You know, there's situations. I think a common one, a good example would be, you know, Strata's got a $10,000 deductible. You know, there's a loss that occurs. The initial assessment for the emergency and the repairs is it's going to be just around, you know, $9,500. So they go ahead and do all those repairs. But as the repairs, you know, progress, they find out there's more damages. And so usually what happens is that they continue doing the work. They finish. The final bill comes in. Now it's $12,000. So then we would get a call and would say, you know what, we have a claim that occurred like 3 months ago. This is what happened. But of course now the bill's $12,000. We would then look at that and see if there's coverage. And most of the time there is. And there are circumstances where I've seen that there isn't because it's something that's just not insured. But I think what happens as a homeowner, the Strata's got to understand is they got to, I think their responsibilities to treat it as if there's no insurance. Would they have done it or not done the repairs? And if they would have anyways, then I don't think they should think about, well, you know what, maybe I should have got authority first. Because the authority would still have said it's not covered. You would still have to go and repair, say, in the case where...
Like you're saying, fix the emergency
first. The window or the flooded basement or the wet floors, whatever it is.
All right. Next question comes from to StrataLife from Mark. I'm a first-time home buyer closing on a townhouse. I've discovered that the current owner did some renovations. The work appears high quality and done by professionals, but I'm fairly certain the owner did not receive city permits nor Strata permission for the renos. What happens now? Can the Strata make us, the new owners, remove the work? Are there insurance issues? This is for both of you again. Liability issues. That's from Mark. So this is very common. I mean, there's lots of people moving in. Like there were so many condos built here in the 90s. People are moving in now and they want to do a new kitchen or they want to rip out a bathroom. And so what percentage actually go and get permits?
Well, there's a lot of rentals that don't require permits. When you're dealing with electrical changes or plumbing changes, that may require a permit.
But if it's just cosmetic, you don't need to, right?
No, if you're changing your kitchen cabinet, you don't need a permit for that. But you need Strata approval for all of that.
Oh, really?
Technically. And you have to look at the bylaws and see what they say about getting that approval. Most bylaws require approval to make alterations. They require it because they want to know what changes you're making. If you happen to be moving a wall that's load bearing, that's very significant. If you're making changes to your flooring and putting Italian marble in, that's important for insurance purposes. Because if there's a subsequent event that damages that, the Strata's insurance isn't going to cover that marble. The homeowner's insurance is going to cover that marble.
Right.
So it's important to know that when these things happen.
But his question now is, this work has been done. It looks professional, but there were no permits. So is there a liability here? Is there an insurance issue?
I think there's a liability. I think the Strata Corporation could say, hey, look, you got to remove that. And I think that's really what his concern is. I buy in here and then I find out that I got to take it out because it wasn't properly approved. So to speak to that, assuming he hasn't bought the house yet, I would suggest he get the owner to go to the council and try and garner that approval before they close the deal.
Sort of grandfather, right?
So he's got the approval, he's going to take responsibility for the upgrade or whatever he's done, and he'll just move forward.
So what if there's an issue down the road and there's something happens in the unit because of these upgrades for insurance purposes?
What would happen is we would cover, the insurance company wouldn't have much of an issue covering from the resulting damage. So if he did plumbing, I guess, people go to Home Depot all the time and, go for an hour seminar, come home, says, I can, put that new kitchen sink in the wet bar. And we see that all the time. So we don't have an issue with, as much as the insurance company doesn't like it, any resulting damage, the plumbing goes, well, we'll pay for resulting damage. The issue is likely what's going to bring into play is that any insurance claim is going to go through where if a repair needs to be done and needs a permit, we will obtain a permit. Mm-hmm. And if the city then finds out that this was done without a permit or it's not even allowed, then the insurance company won't be able to put it back the way the owner originally, that he paid for, where he bought the unit as. They would only get it back to where originally the strata is. And this would be a good example, actually, if you think about a homeowner. A lot of people in Vancouver being so expensive got these basement suites. And I would think probably over 50% of them are illegal basement suites.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing when we see insurance claim comes into those. They go, well, geez, I had the kitchen and everything in there. Why can't you put it back? And the insurance company's answer is that we love to put it back the way it is because that's what you paid insurance for. But the bylaw doesn't allow it. So therefore, we can't break the rules. We'll put it back to what the law allows, and that's all we can do. Right. It doesn't void the insurance in any manner, though. We don't say, well, you had a legal basement suite, so sorry, no coverage.
All right, we just are going to take a quick break. We've been talking with Drew Grout and Gordon Lee about strata and insurance, and the next segment is going to be on insurance. Don't worry, Alex, I'm going to get you in on waste management.
Well, he already did with the Italian marble. So.
I'm working on that.
No, we got the Italian reference in.
Can that be recycled, by the way?
If you can work a few more Italian references in before we get to waste management over with Alex, Alex will be happy. So when we come back, we're going to touch more on strata and insurance. Next, we're talking about StrataLife right here on CL 650.
This is Experts on Call on CL 650.